Good morning, all. Whoops. So glad to welcome you here this morning. And I've seen an old friend that I haven't seen for quite a few years. Good to see you, Joanne. And I've met so many interesting people already. And I'd just like to say, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us be joyful and be glad. And I have a little something I'd like to read. We need each other. Scripture says two are better than one. We are instructed to love, pray or care about, accept, forgive, serve, encourage, and build up one another. I love that about my partners in the Women of Faith Conference. We bebop all over the country, watching out for each other. We serve one another joyfully from the heart. When one of us is down, we rally to her. When one celebrates, we rejoice together. We're a team. We never anticipated this kind of bonding, but bonding we are. People need each other, no matter how much we insist we don't. Nobody is an island, an entity into itself, a lone ranger. We're in this thing called community, and part of the joy of community is sharing the weight of burdens, losses, and loneliness, and fear. Look around you, my friend. Who's there for you, and who are you there for? Take a careful look. Even those who insist they can make it on their own may be waiting for you to reach out and help. Be there and be available. Even the Lone Ranger had a sidekick. Thank you all for coming.
Shall we pray? We thank you, Heavenly Father, for this time we could all be together. It's so good to see one another and see old friends. But we pray your blessings upon this time and remember our families and our churches. And we just thank and praise you for all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I know you're all thinking, what's he doing in here?
Oh no, boy.
Don't worry, I'm not going to use the ladies' rooms. We're declaring that both bathrooms are ladies' rooms today. All right, I'm here filling in for Ann Barnes, who couldn't be here this morning. But I do want you to know I'm legit. I'm an honorary member of the ABW. How many of you like music? How many of you like to sing great music? Let's find out. We're going to sing some hymns this morning. Some that you chose, some that were chosen ahead of time, and a couple that we're going to ask you to choose. So you be thinking as we sing, what hymn would you like to sing this morning? But we're going to start with number 345 in the hymnal, Blessed Assurance. How many of you know that hymn? How many of you know what the words mean? Blessed Assurance, Jesus is mine. Let's sing together. I'll let you decide right now if you want to stay seated or stand up and sing. But before we're done, I think we're going to all want to get standing up. Number 345. We're going to sing all three verses. 345.
Glory divine.
560. Or the beauty of the earth, 560. Let's do 1, 3, and 5. Let's do 3 verses of 560. 1, 3, and 5. I remember singing this song when I was a teenager. I've been singing it a very long time. It's a beautiful song, 524. It took a miracle to hang the stars in space. Just think about these words as we sing. 524. We'll sing all 3 verses. As you sing those words, if you can sing with your eyes closed, think about the miracle that brought you into the family. Let's sing the second verse.
To
297, you're ready. Good work. 297. I love to tell the old story of Jesus and his love. Great choice. 297. Let's sing all three verses. One more favorite.
How about the chorus, page 80?
Page 80, the chorus.
You can sing a couple people.
In the chorus book?
No, it's in the hymn book, but it's just the chorus.
Oh.
Okay. I love you, Lord. That's great. Great song. We'll sing it twice. Maybe we'll even sing it 3 times. See how we're doing. more in you? 74. Let's sing 74. And then I'm going to get out of the way. And I think it's time, if you can, to stand and sing Majesty. We're going to go musically from one end to the other by singing I Love You, Lord, so sweetly and gently, and then Majesty with great majesty.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pastor Ashley, and thank Mr. Walker. They are wonderful. I feel like I've been fed so much already. One of our themes, I believe, this year is See Transformative Community. And we've heard a little bit about community from your wonderful opening. And I thought the best place to me to look at community was what God thought about the best way to start community. So I'm going to be in Exodus, but I need you to have your hands ready. So if you have things in your hands, you may want to put them in your lap. And I need you to be in community with me, because if I'm the only one going to do our Bible devotional time, then we won't be in community together. So we're going to do the 10 Commandments, and you need all 10 fingers. We want to be reminded of what God laid out as ways to be in community. So I'm from Exodus 20, and God spoke all these words. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. So you need one finger, because there is one God. Perfect. And we're going to have to shrink some of them to be able to remember, but I'm prayerful by the end of this time you'll be able to do all of them, which would be great. So there is One God. Awesome, you guys are great. You shall have, you shall have no other gods before me. So you're going to hold up number 2, which we don't ever want 2, right? We only wanted one God. So no idols, okay? One God, no idols. You guys are a great community. I better be good and stay right here. But verse 4, you shall not make for yourself an idol. Whoops. No gods before me. Right. You shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the fathers, the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. And it's interesting when we talk about one God, a lot of times children nowadays haven't even heard of the true Lord, right? And I'm so thankful that we can celebrate, because it's only Jesus who died, who is now glorified, risen. That's why we get to celebrate and be rejoicing this morning. But idols get a little tricky. You know, when I teach young children Sunday school class, I always ask, what's something that you really, really like? You know, and sometimes depending on the season in life, whether it's Legos or Matchbox cars or video games, or as they get older, their iPhones. But then when you think about other things in our adult life that get to be idols, so anything that we spend more time with or think more about than the Lord. So that can be a lot of things, right? I think of my own life. Well, I spend a lot of time cooking for my family, and I think a lot about food. So that could become a little bit of an idol, either for myself or trying to make great food for other people. Money can always be a concern, whether we have not enough or too much, or how we're going to spend it, or how we wish we could spend it. So money can be an idol. Obviously, even entertainment. If we spend a lot of time watching our favorite shows, or even listening to our favorite music, but we're not spending time with the Lord, that can become an idol. And even relationships. If we spend a lot of time thinking about relationships, rather being in relationship with the Lord, that can be an idol. So there is one God, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit, and no idols. He is a jealous God, but He loves us so much. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses His name. Now this one you have to be a little stretchy, because if you have 3 fingers up, it looks a tiny bit like a capital W. And we're going to use words, so you have to watch your words, just to remember that we don't want to misuse the Lord's name. Now, I don't know that there'd be very many women in this room, or gentlemen in this room, who would be as tempted to actually misuse the Lord's name because we revere it so much. But I know that a lot of times what has come into our society is, oh my, you know, and so I think we have to be careful, and sometimes we substitute that. We have our own little version, oh my gosh. But what do people think and hear about in their own heads, perhaps? Maybe if we're just being too casual about who the Lord is to us, or too casual about what everything Jesus has done. We have to watch our words and remember that He's holy. So number 3 is watch your words. So there is one God, no idols, watch your words. Which reminds us not to misuse the Lord's name. Okay? Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant or maidservant, nor your animals, nor the alien within your gates. For in the 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. But He rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. So this one we have 4, right? Because remember it's the 4th commandment. And you have to use your imagination, because look at my thumb. He is resting when all of my fingers are standing up, right? So we want to honor the Sabbath, right? Yeah. So number 4 is honor the Sabbath, right? or keep the Sabbath. I guess we want to keep the Sabbath because we're going to have to honor. So let's keep the Sabbath. Now this one seems a little tricky some days because we know that Jesus also said that the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So we don't want to figure out some kind of set of rules of do's and don'ts necessarily. But what did the Lord want us to do? He wanted us to rest. In part because we need to be in relationship with Him and perhaps in relationship with one another. Well, I will tell you that oftentimes there are some folks as I look around who are pastors' wives, worship leaders. I happen to be a pastor's wife as well. I'll tell you, Sunday itself isn't necessarily a very restful day, right, Wanda? A dear friend from the South is up, which is lovely to join us today, or us to join her, as she's our new president. It might be that Saturday afternoon until Sunday morning might be your Sabbath time. Maybe there's 6 hours on a Tuesday night that is your Sabbath, your time to set aside to be with the Lord. I don't know that we have to always, I'm not going to, this is just an opinion, so please don't take it, but it may not always be Sunday itself that gets to be our time to withdraw, to be refreshed by the Lord, and to be in His presence. But He desires to be in community with us. He desires for us to be refreshed. And that, I believe, is His heart. So we're going to keep the Sabbath. We're going to watch. You have to help me, community. Watch our words. I'm counting backwards. It's a little hard. We're going to have no idols, and we're going to remember there's one God. Oh, you guys are great sports. Verse 12. Honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. So thankfully, you know, when I say something like this, if you took a vow, or if you were in the Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, you would often, raise your hand. Oh, good. Because I tried to teach this a little while ago to young children, and they had no idea what this meant. They never, ever raised their hand. So can you raise your hand with me to remember to honor our father and mother? Now, this can be a little harder if you're of a generation that perhaps your father and mother are no longer here with us. But you're able to, by sharing with your children or grandchildren, with those you love, to be able to speak well of them and what they have done in your life, if they have, to be able to show what it means to show honor and respect to those of perhaps your mother and father's age, just to be able to care for them. I know that my husband became a believer in college. He wasn't raised as a Christian. And to this day, he's the only Christian in his family. His mother and father are not Christians. His sister is not a Christian. None of my nieces and nephews are believers. His uncle, his cousins, not one. Not a single person in his entire family is a Christian, except our children. And learning how to honor well parents who we love deeply, my mother, father-in-law, we love them deeply. And also, they'll keep it in understanding of also have to honor the Lord. So we always honor the Lord first, and His desires and His commandments, and then we honor our fathers and mothers, or those that God has allowed us to have as fathers and mothers in our lives. And so, it's a privilege before the Lord to be able to honor our fathers and mothers. So we'll count upwards this time. Ready? One God, no idols, watch your words, rest on the Sabbath, honor your father and mother. Now, you shall not murder. Actually, that's exactly right. So you got, yes, exactly. Beg. You're not supposed to, though, right? So we're only going to have one finger, so we have our 6, right? We have 5 on this hand, and kind of 1 is kind of a little funky gun, I guess. But anyway, do not murder, right? I would like to hope that in this room that one's a pretty easy one. However, we have to remember that the Lord also kind of expanded everything to get to heart and mind issues. And if you really can't stand that lady who sits across the church from you because she drives you crazy inside your mind for whatever reason, not that anyone would ever have that happen, you have to be careful that you're not in any way murdering her or him, maybe it's a him, in your mind. Maybe even there's people who are not very good people, and that you really dislike the sin that they are exhibiting. But the Lord would have us pray for our enemies and to love those around, not what they're doing and all of that. So you have to be careful. He wants us to, I believe Jesus wants us to keep peeling back all of these transformative community things and say, oh, that one's easy. I'm never going to pull a gun on somebody. But what about my words? What about my thoughts? We have to be careful. So do not murder. Okay. Verse 14, you shall not commit adultery. Make a little, and then we're going to walk down the aisle. Okay? Because the Lord wants us to honor our marriage commitment if we are married, and to help support the marriage commitments of those around us, being able to encourage those in all that we think or we do. We want to uphold and celebrate marriage. And one way perhaps that you might be able to do that, if you feel, if your marriage has been going great and wonderful, consider mentoring a younger person. Even if it's just gently and subtly at first, ways to praise them. Teach them, I would say this to the women because that's where we are. Women, teach them how to speak well of their husbands. I think our society tells us that sarcasm and slamming and all kinds of things like that are good. They're not. I don't believe they're of the Lord. And so if you can even model to younger women in your churches how to speak well of their husbands, how to praise them in public, and how to lift them up, how to encourage one another in that regard. Maybe a woman would be willing to come alongside of you after they know that you care about them, so that you can model. I think this room has a lot of wisdom about marriage. TV, movies do not teach women these days how to be good wives. They don't. I believe women in this room could teach how to be good wives. And so that's another way to not commit adultery, is to help others not. So let's see if we count all the way up. You ready? Let's be a little bit louder. Ready? One God. Oh, yeah! Thank you. One God, no idols. Watch your words. Rest on the Sabbath. Honor your father and mother. Don't commit murder. Do not commit adultery. Okay. You shall. Well, you guys are doing awesome. Really awesome. By the way, I think statistically only 17% of pastors in the United States can say the Ten Commandments from memory. And by the time you're done, I believe, at least till the end of the day, you might be able to say the Ten Commandments from memory. You'll have all your fingers to help you out. This one, you shall not steal. So we're going to use our 8 fingers, sort of like jail cells coming down. You shall not steal. One thing I talk to about with younger folks, especially I'd say 16 to 25-year-olds, but I think it's true for many other generations, is their concept of stealing has changed dramatically. If you look at cheating and stealing, intellectual property, I can take it. So people, they get digital downloads of movies and of music and of a lot of things, and they just pass it all around because they don't see the fact that somebody created it, and that if they just take it and then distribute it however they want to, it's really stealing of property. A lot of times they've been taught it doesn't matter if you steal answers. It's a little bit of our culture. I have teenagers. Thankfully, I hope they're not stealing intellectual property or answers, but it's a little bit more of the culture. It's sort of like, oh, you just got that move, that latest music. Oh, can I have it? Can I have it? Can I have it? Rather than each of them buying. And so I think that there's ways that we can, that stealing happens more than just walking into the store and picking up something that you didn't pay for. And so we want to gently, I know my husband, when he just became a believer, and we had a wonderful, back when there was, of course, cassette tapes. This before between 8 tracks and MP3 players, there's cassette tapes, and he had never been taught. He just assumed, you got the music, you make the copy of the cassette tape, and there was a wonderful gentleman who became a mentor of his at church, and one day they're talking about the latest music, and I don't remember what genre, this was back in the early 90s, so whatever was, Michael W. Smith was probably really big, and he's like, oh, I'll make a copy of that. And all the gentleman said was very gently, oh, wouldn't that be stealing it? We have to pay for my own copy or something. Just very gently, and my husband said he remembers that moment vividly, because he didn't know. No one had ever taught him. So I think a lot of our younger generation, they might not know. So if you're able to gently share, if it comes up ever in your lives, if somebody says, oh, I'll burn you this disc, or I'll hand you this movie, or whatever, if you're able to gently, it could transform. It transformed his moment. He's never sort of borrowed or swapped over. He buys all of his music, he buys all of his, and he never heard that. And so that's just a way of stealing that we can not do. All right. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. Got 5 fingers here, and whoops, I gotta do it. Anyway, these 5 are here, these 4 are here, and this guy right here is whispering to these 4 about these 5. I'm trying to have a hard time. But giving false testimony, saying bad things, giving a bad report, giving false testimony. So this thumb is telling secrets to these 4 about these 5. And I didn't have a watch, Hilda, so I better go quicker, hadn't I? But anyway, ready? Here we go. One God, no idols, watch your words, rest on the Sabbath, honor your father and mother, do not kill, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not give false witness. And number 10 is piece of cake. You ready? Gimme, 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 gimme. Except don't. Gimme, 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 gimme. Let me read it for you. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife or his manservant or his maidservant, his ox or his donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Honestly, I think every single person in this room, if I know much about human nature, and I'm very much a human being, has had elements of coveting. Things we want, things we see. A magazine comes in, a TV show, somebody walks in with something, even if it seems tiny or not much. I mean, there's a lot of pretty nice outfits out there, actually, and there's all kinds of lovely things that I see. Maybe it's a relationship that you covet. Maybe it's a home that's more handicap accessible. Maybe it's a daughter who goes and calls her mother, and your daughter doesn't call you as much as you want. There's a lot of ways that we can covet, and we have to ask the Lord to guard our hearts. Lord, help me to want you first. Help me to be satisfied, because you give us so many things to be satisfied in. So help us not to be... Think we can do it? I'm going to help you once, and I'm going to see if you can do it all by yourselves. Ready? So here's our practice round. One God, no idols, watch your words, rest on the Sabbath, honor your father and mother, do not kill, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not give false testimony, don't covet. I'll do it, see if you can say it. Ready? One God, no idols, watch your words, rest on the Sabbath, honor your father and mother, do not kill, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not bear false witness, and do not covet. Thank you, ladies.
Okay, folks, here we go.
What's she thinking?
This is supposed to be an icebreaker, but obviously you could break the ice this year. You probably just have to bring that down.
I'm just following you, chick.
Okay. Now that's fine. All right. Okay, you guys remember playing Hangman's Noose? That's what we're going to do. This one. Well, maybe. Right. I was supposed to leave my house at 6 o'clock this morning because I'm Joyce Worden from Ellsworth, which is a bit away, but it's not as far away as some of you guys. I set my clock for 5 o'clock. Next thing I know, it's 6. I left my house at 7:15. I'm just thankful for 75. You know, there's a saying, 9 you find, 10 you mind. So if you go 9 over, you're okay. If you go 10 over, they can pick you up. Okay, so. Somebody told me that. This is Hangman's Noose. And it's got a kind of a little twist to it, and you'll see what that is afterwards. Can you guys see that? I don't write very big, but I'll see what I can do. What you have to do is call out a letter, and we need to get it, because we're in salvation, so we want to say the person. I was going to draw a picture of a man, but I don't draw. So and that's why this is like this. Right, okay. Can everybody hear me? You can probably hear me without this.
No.
You want to hold it with your one
Yes.
hand?
Okay.
Is it all right?
Perfect.
Oh, cool. Okay. So what you do is you call out a letter, and I will put it down. I can see which one this is. Okay. And at the end of it, there will be a little something that will show up. A word. Little something that will show up. So how many of you are confused now? Do you need to get up? Do you need to get up and move around or anything? Because if you do, we can do something else. I don't know what it would be, but.
You could make it stand up and you have to call, because we just shout out letters, there'll be lots of letters at once.
Yes.
That way we get exercise.
Okay. Okay. All right. What'd you
Maybe
say?
Mary Jane's gonna start first. Why?
Why? No.
Oh.
Whoops. Needs to go over here. We'll make his head. Okay?
Right on the side so I can remember.
Oh.
Jeez, I have a really short memory.
Okay. Why? Why?
A.
A.
This game.
This is what I want for that. Okay, go ahead. Next.
S.
You'll see the purpose of this in a minute. Okay?
T.
Supposed to stand up.
You won't get exercise if you don't stand up when you call out your letter.
Okay.
R.
Okay? You're good. You're good.
K.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta remember what I wrote. Which reminds me. You know how you think things are gonna go really good? And they're just kind of dead in the water.
L.
L?
Can you print a little smaller?
That's been an issue my whole life. I'll try to do bigger. This might help too. Okay, let me look. Let me look. I think they're all in there.
No, why?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it has to be.
She owes you an apology.
I do. This poor guy's not so bad.
She hasn't lost his head.
So there must be an E.
I get nervous in front of people.
N.
N. You got the jackpot. Holy cow.
U.
Pray until something happens.
Yep, that's it.
Nobody got home.
And pray until something happens is P-U-S-H. So when you see the word push on a door when it says push, don't pull. How many of you do that? I'm sure. When you see push, pray until something happens. You want to try another one? Are you bored yet? Okay, this one's a little shorter. And if you want to know, I have little letters written down here. And I was pretty sure you people wouldn't be able to read them. But this way, that's how I know where they go.
How about R?
R? Oh no, now we're gonna hang him. Uh-oh. It's okay, Doris.
Only hurts when it.
Because I could be wrong.
A T.
T? Nope. Oh, wait a minute, let me write those.
How about a D?
That is a D.
That's the only one?
No.
Is it depend on God?
It is.
Oh.
We've got a theme going here.
Real fortune.
Dogs.
Right. So when you think of a dog, that doesn't sound quite right, does it? When you think of a dog, think of God. No. Okay. There's some story behind that makes dogs more special than cats, but I'm thinking that's wrong.
All dogs go to heaven.
Oh, dogs go to. Oh, that's one right there. Okay, this is the last one.
Oh.
I know. Okay.
And.
N? Yep. I'm sorry, I'll make it bigger. That's big to me.
There's got to be an E in there somewhere.
Somebody's playing. Next.
T.
I.
There's not one that goes in that tape? In the middle?
Nope.
A. No, that's
No, we got one word.
Q. Q. Somebody said no. So far, he's been pretty good with only on his head.
S.
S. I'm sorry, that's as big as it gets.
Wow. Z.
Z. Yes.
Z. What about L?
Nope.
Joyce Draw. I'll buy a G.
G blank blank yes. Blank I.
When my hand gets to a certain length, I have a tendency to do this. C? Somebody asked me if I had a tick.
Age.
A P,
Must be an R somewhere.
I think somebody's song, maybe.
Yep.
God's riches and Christ's expense.
Right.
The last letter is.
God's riches, Christ's expense.
the last letter should be an E, shouldn't it?
Yes.
E-X-P-E-N-S-E, you're right. There's an E on here.
It's not again, it's not again.
And with, oh, this should be red. And with that, you have-
Red, right?
Excuse me?
The A and F should be red. Yes.
Never said
That's
it was
good. I like
Yes.
that.
Never said it was good. God's riches at Christ's expense is
Great.
Yes.
Very nice. You're paying the man anyway.
I was gonna tell you a story about me not being married, but there's men here, so I can't. We'll save that for summer conference.
Good morning. When Hilda asked me several weeks ago if I would bring something this morning to sing, she had mentioned the possibility of me being able to sing with my very most favorite person that I like to sing with, and this is my son Jonathan, but I wasn't sure at the time if he'd be game. But he came through for his mom. So this is Jonathan, he's in the 3rd grade, and he's my favorite student, because he is one of my students. But anyway, we're going to sing for you a song that I really wasn't sure what we would prepare for today that would be suitable for both of us to sing together. And my mom suggested this one that I haven't heard in so long, but I'm sure many of you have heard it before. And I hope that at the end, when you have the opportunity to sing with us, that you sing right out with us. But we're going to sing a song called He's Still Working on Me.
That's my theme song.
He's still working on me to make me what I want to be. It took him just a week to make the moving stars. He said the earth and Jupiter and Mars, the elevation we will see. He's still working on me.
the clerk. I am your president-elect. I will become president in August if you vote that way. They've asked me to lead this portion of the program this morning, which is the business meeting. We don't really have a lot of business to do, but there may be some things that need to be brought to your attention. I list here so that I don't forget anybody. Let's start with having Mary Jane tell us whatever it is she needs to tell us. Mary Jane Sullivan is our secretary.
I figured the most important thing is to remind you of what's coming up. And if I gotta turn my page before I can put that down. Just a minute. So, I want to remind you that White Cross reports are due from the locals to the associations on May 30th. June 1st is the deadline for officers to send their articles for potential, which is our American Baptist Women of Maine newsletter, and also reports to me for the directory. If you are changing your officers in your associations or your local groups, please send me the new address, phone number, name, so that I can get all that accurate in our records. The summer conference, there are, some of you have been given copies of the registration form. For the others, it's in the back. One of our international ministries missionaries is going to be a speaker there, and Sheila Hanice is going to do a Bible study. And I don't remember all the details of everything, but that's enough of that. And the other thing I need to do before I turn it to somebody else is to take the roll call for the day. And what I'm needing is everybody from Boatingham Association to stand up, and I'm probably the only one. Am I right? I don't see anybody else. Then Cumberland Association. 1, 2. Damascotta Association. 0. East Area. 1. Kennebec. 1. Let's see. I got to do my lining here. I'm a little off. All right, so now we'll get down here and get on the right line again. Lincoln Association. Nobody from Lincoln. North Aristic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that it? Okay. Penquist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that all okay? South Aristic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I count you? Let me try it again. Put your hands up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
There's 2 in the kitchen.
2 in the kitchen. 9, 10. Is that it?
Kitchen.
All right. West area. 2. And York. Nobody from York came this far north. Any place else that anyone is from?
You've got a guest this morning?
We have a guest.
Well, you could count me with you.
We'll count her, okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, where are you from?
South Aristic.
What? South Aristic? So shall I add her for South Aristic?
I think that sounds good.
All right.
Ladies from the kitchen, did you get them?
Yes, I counted the 2 ladies from the kitchen. I didn't count our gentleman.
He's an honorary American Baptist woman, yes?
Yes, I just want to know, are you the pastor of this church?
Yes.
Okay.
So you don't count? I'm kidding.
And that's South Aristic?
Southern.
He's here. We counted. Okay.
Mari was here.
Two singers.
Mari was here, so that's also South, where is, where is Mari from?
South Aroostook.
Jerry Smith.
Jerry Smith?
Sharon.
Where is he from?
No,
Jerry.
she's from, right here, Southern.
South Aroostook. So we ended up with 14 from South Aroostook?
No, you had two more, you had two singers.
Yeah.
Two singers, 15?
So there was four really, Scott, Johnny, me, and Sharon.
So did we make it up to 16 from South Aroostook?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's count this up. 1 and 2 is 3, 4, 5. 5 and 8 is 13. 7 is 20. Add the South Rook, that makes 36, 37, 38. Does that sound right? So, thank you. That's my part.
Okay. Thank you. They might be interested to know how many were at the South Rally last week.
Oh, yes, I have that. There were 52 at the South Rally, so that's a total of 19 in both rallies.
Wonderful. Okay. Judy Ledger, do you have any treasury issues that we need to be made aware of?
I will just give you a quick report and hand out the offering envelope.
Glad for you to come up here and do that.
I'm just going to give you a general rundown, and this is,
She's gonna make you do that. If I don't, she'll come over here and get you.
I'm just going to give you a general rundown from January to March, okay? We have in our state support $1,232.61. State project has $100, which is the Atchison, which will go until summer conference. And Gifts of Love has $671.81. Potential has $80. National Support, 0. Women and Girls